What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by Major League Success. And I have Nick Vlasidis with us with the Next Home Experience. Nick, I got your last name right.
You got it correct me. I'll give you $100.
All right. I was so worried about that one. But no, we're back again to share, another top agent and their story of how they got into the business. And Nick and I were social media friends, and we really got to connect, through Clubhouse over the last, 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And I got to hear a little bit of his story one time on a call that we were doing. And, I wanted to get him on because I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs and people that can relate to your story. So Nick, thanks for coming on and sharing your journey with us.
I appreciate it, John. You know what? I just got to give kudos to you again. You do a fantastic job with Clubhouse and organizing that and you're building a camaraderie between all the agents. And I tell everyone this, I go, you know what? I think we're all colleagues. I think, and we're not we're competent. There is no competition, really. There's an abundance of homes for everyone to sell, right? To make a lot of money. And we're creating a collaborative effect to become like closer colleagues, because in the end, it's all about working together to get our clients to the closing table to help them. You know what I'm saying? We're helping them succeed in the closing table in the transaction. But a lot of times in the old school ways, what did they do? They were like, man, this is all competition. I'm not talking to that guy. Yeah. Like if I was in New York right now, I would have been telling you, I'm not talking to him. He's my competition, right? So it's not like that anymore. And I appreciate that you're doing that, because in the end, the closer that we work together, the smoother all the transactions are. Yeah. And we can work things out in the way.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. It's one of those things where, I don't know, I had an aha moment maybe 5-ish years ago where, I was just looking at like our team numbers of what we did. And I was like, I just wonder how that stacks up to like when I got into the business in 2011, right? We're coming out of that, the bad time of the market. I mean, it still wasn't great, and it wasn't terrible, but I went back to 2011 to see how many home sales there were at that time, because that would have been the worst market of my career.
Yeah.
And in Columbus and Central Ohio, there's still 20,000 homes that sold. And I think when I pulled that number, I forget what year it was, 2018, 2017, somewhere in there. Our team was doing like 175-ish, 200 and something. Like it was less than 1% of the market share. Mm-hmm. And like, then it was like, man, I don't compete with anyone. At least in our market. It's not like we're in a small town where there's only like, 200 homes that sell. But, here it's like, there's just so much real estate that's going on. And you'll hear every single agent for the most part saying, oh, we need to do something to raise the level, the standards of our industry. And, part of this podcast, part of what I want to do and, is find like-minded people, real estate agents, real estate professionals that actually want to help raise that standard. And the only way to do it, in my opinion, is agents helping agents, sharing, what they're doing and guiding, other agents to help them hit the success that they're looking to hit.
Show me your net worth, right? And I'll show you your net worth, right? You're exactly the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And I think that when you start hanging out with people that are successful, and I think that's the thing, you start becoming more successful yourself. It's like you learn through osmosis, man. I tell everyone that I preach it to my kids. I said, it's not about me being the best parent. It's about who you hang out with. Yeah. Right? We're going to guide them in the right way, but ultimately it's their peers. Are they hanging out with peers that are doing better, right, than them? They're going to lift them up instead of bringing them down. That's what life's about, man. It's people don't realize it. It's just that simple. And it's just being around good people. And I tell people this, I was like, we're not in the real estate business. Everything that we do is it's the human business, right? It's a human interaction. Without the other person on the other end, you can't do anything. You can't sell, you can't make a computer, you can't work on a computer. Someone built the computer through someone's mind, right? A thought created it. So a thought creates everything, and it's the other human that you're interacting with that's going to pay you, right? Or whoever. So everything comes from a human to human interaction. If people just realize that, it's all about helping somebody, helping the other person to get what they need. That's simple. And life is that. If people just look at it that way, and they're like, you know what? dude, I mean, that's pretty simple. If you keep it that simple, like I tell you, keep it simple, stupid. That is my whole theory of life, is just go help other people. Do exactly what you would want them to do for you. Right.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm like, that is it, dude. I'm like, you know what? That's simple. Like, well, no, I'm like, that's it. How would you want to be treated in that situation? What would you like? What type of service would you like? Would you like to be treated like royalty? Hell yeah, it would be. Treat them like royalty, man. That's what you got to do, man. People are people. You got to make them feel good. And it's just connecting with them on a deeper level and build those relationships. Your business will grow naturally just by doing that. But obviously, you got to be skilled in your craft. Right. And so what you do is you practice your craft, you script, you do role play and all that stuff, you train. And I think a lot of people don't realize that this is a profession and you have to practice your skill set. But ultimately it's all about, if you have a great skill set, but you suck with people, you're not going to do that well. Right. So there's a balance between both, but you also need to practice your skill set.
Or you're going to be, you're going to have some inconsistencies in your business, right? Mm-hmm. If you're good at one and not so great at the other. But Nick, and I know we'll dive into probably a lot of this as we go through our conversation today, but I always like starting, back when you were younger, growing up. It's funny, as I interview, real estate professionals, and there's usually always something that happens, whether it's the growing up, teenage years, college, something like that then impacts their real estate business into the future. So what was growing up like? Were you always an entrepreneur? Did you play sports? Kind of fill me in from, growing up to through your high school years, college years.
All right. So growing up, I grew up in Flushing, Queens, till I was about 11 years old. So I'm a New Yorker, hence the accent a little bit here, right? I don't sound like a Columbus guy, but I grew up in Flushing till about 11. Then from 11 to like 21, till high school, actually, I was at Johns Hopkins University. No, at Paramus High School. Sorry. So I was at Paramus High School and I played football there. I was like the captain of the football team. I played college football at Johns Hopkins. It was pretty good. I also played hockey, baseball. I was an athlete when I was younger. I was really good at sports, but I was always probably always the fourth or fifth best player whenever I started. And then I became through hard work, right? And I was always an overachiever through working harder and through practice, buying football camps. Like I was paying for my own football camps. I was trying to figure out ways to get better and always surround myself with people that are either better athletes, better coaches, learning books. But how did I get into real estate? So it's crazy because Greeks we're all about owning property, right? They're like, hey man, you have to own property. You have to own property. So my dad had a painting contracting business and I helped him out when he was younger. And through that painting contracting business, I saw a lot of stuff like real estate agents, working with them. And so I was like, okay, it's a pretty cool niche. But I never thought about getting into real estate until I moved to Florida when my brother and I started a painting contracting business down there. And then we started working with a bunch of realtors there. And then I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to learn. I didn't think I was going to get into real estate, but they always hired us before they put the house on the market. The interior designers or realtors were hiring us, and we were doing a great job with them. And then I was like, okay, this is pretty simple. It's getting the house ready for the market, preparing, and then becoming real estate, right? Owning property. We were painting a bunch of homes. And it just felt natural to me because I was in the painting business. Then after that, when I moved to Columbus, Ohio, I got into the Subway franchise business. So I owned the Subway franchise from 2004 to 2017. So I went from Flushing, Queens, Paramus, New Jersey, to Baltimore, to Johns Hopkins University, to University of South Florida in Tampa, to Columbus, Ohio in 2004. So
did you, I want to kind of, the transfer in college, was that for sports or was it
no, it wasn't for sports. I tore my ACL in playing football. So I was like, I'm not going to become a doctor. I was at Johns Hopkins. And literally, I thought I was smart until I went to Johns Hopkins. I got into Hopkins, so apparently I was pretty smart. But when I went there and I was pre-med and going into the labs, I was like, no way. I didn't have the patience for the chem labs. But I always had this entrepreneurship bug, right? I was always like, I try to, like my dad's business or starting businesses. I was always reading business books or sports books when I was 13 years old.
Even when you were younger.
Even when I was younger, I was always doing that. So, I mean, by 18 years old, 19, I had a few jobs, but I started businesses when I was like painting business. I did some modeling and acting back then too, which was great. That was fun. That was a great experience also. And I just basically was an independent contractor since supporting myself since I was 18, 20 years old.
And was that something that, you know, with your dad having a painting business, is that something that he kind of passed on, like taught you, or was it like a conversation?
They didn't want us to. They didn't want. They have no. I should have became a doctor and a lawyer. That's a Greek swan, right? You're a doctor or a lawyer. They want their kids. They don't want anything to do with the painting business or the restaurant business. A lot of Greeks own restaurants. They want their kids to do something else and be educated and go to college and become a professional, like a doctor or a lawyer, an attorney.
And what gave you that? I mean, what gave you that work ethic? You know, so young to pay for your own, you know, football camps and things like that. I mean, you know, that wasn't me. You know, like I didn't think that way. Can you? I mean, was it just your environment? Was it like a friend that kind of, you know, like
I don't know what it was, but I think that at that when I looked at my dad, right, my dad and my mom, they both came here, didn't know the language. My dad was, I think, in his he was in his mid-20s when he moved here, and with $50 in his pocket.
Wow.
And the dude owned, like, you know, he's retired now, but he did really well for himself. He had a painting business and didn't know the language. And I always thought to myself, I said, you know what? If he can come here and do that, what are my excuses, right? We have all the capabilities. We know the language. We have everything at our fingertips, whatever information we want. I mean, we got Google. We want to learn something, we could do it, right? I was always inquisitive. Like, I don't know what it was inside me that I always wanted to learn about anything, just to become better at whatever I did, just become better and just become a better human too. Because a lot of times I think when you're younger, you want to become better, but then as I'm evolving now, I'm learning, you know, spirituality and everything. It's there's a bug inside me that keeps on wanting to learn. That's all it is. I can't explain it. Some people have it. You have it. You love learning. You love learning new opportunities. You like hanging out with, you know, people that are successful. It brings us all up, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the common denominator in a lot of us that become successful. We're always learning.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're exactly right. And I think for me, you know, I came from a small town and, you know, sometimes it's that small town mindset, but, you know, really I got lucky with my first mentor, my only mentor. You know, I've been with him since day one, but, you know, he was young and successful. And, you know, it just kind of opened my eyes to a different world that's out there. That's the potential, you know, of it could be you, you know, it could be me. So you transferred down to Florida, right? For, you know, did you finish out your degree?
You know what? No, I didn't. I had like 15 credits left. My brother and I started a painting business and we started doing really well. We were painting like really high-end luxury homes.
Okay.
Talking about like back then, this was in 2000, like $2-3 million homes. And we got work with a contractor who was actually the head GC for the Bartolo family. The Bartolo family, the guys that used to own the 49ers, and we got into we became their painters. This is when we were younger. I was 22 years old then. And we did well. We did really well. And then 2004, I met my then wife, and then I moved here in 2004.
Okay. So you come to Columbus. At that point, you just shut down the painting. Like, did you?
Yeah. So I left my brother. I moved here, and then I moved here for the wife, and then the Subway opportunity came, and I opened up a Subway franchise.
Okay. So dive into that a little bit. Was it just an opportunity that just kind of fell right in front of you, or?
No, yeah, it wasn't really a fell in front of me because my father-in-law at that time was like, hey, he's like, Nick, he's like, hey, there's an opportunity. Do you want it? When I was younger, I used to work for my friends' diner. My friends were Greek, right? We own restaurants, diners. So there are a lot of Greeks in the area. They owned either restaurants, diners, bagel shops in New Jersey. So I worked at a bagel shop. I worked at diners, and I didn't want to work for my dad, but I did. But I worked for a couple of times with my dad. But I'm like, I don't know. I just fell into the restaurant business. I'm like, I always wanted to open a bagel shop up. It was bagels, and we made sandwiches at the bagel shops. Cream cheese, butter bagels, all that stuff, and sandwiches, and just cold cut sandwiches. And I had the bug in me. I saw the amount of cash that they were pulling in. I was like, damn. I was like, this is pretty sweet. So I was like, you know what? Let's do the Subway business. And my father-in-law said, hey, Nick, he goes, we have this opportunity. He bought a gas station property and they were building a Subway. The first franchisee didn't want it. The nearest franchisee didn't want it. The second nearest franchisee didn't want it. The third nearest franchisee didn't want it. He ran 13 restaurants on one point. He's like, I don't want this thing, man. I'm sick of it. Like, I'm so tired of the restaurant. He goes, you're young. I was 25 at the time. He's like, would you want to buy this? I said, sure. I said, I had to go through the development agent. I had to get testing. I had to get a loan. Like literally I put $0 down. I had to get a line of credit somewhere and they gave it to me. And I was working my ass off, and excuse my language, and making nothing the first year. So the first year I opened up the Subway, they would say it was in a gas station, right? So people are like, nah, Nick, it's not going to do that well. I don't think it's going to. And they were right. It was ranked 90th out of 120th in all the stores in the Central Ohio area. And so I was like, what do I do to make this thing better? And so I always thought outside the box, hard work and customer service, being the best at that. I was building the relationship. But what I created was a service-oriented Subway where you have more employees than you need in the beginning or during lunch. And then you have enough people to train and to serve the customers because you're training them to come back, right? Yeah. When the worst thing, when you guys go, when I go to a place at lunch, I only have 30 minutes, right? Yeah. You don't want to wait there 25 minutes to get your sandwich. Yeah. You don't have that time, right? So I always had enough staff to service our clients and whoever came in, to service them in a fast and friendly manner, right? I treated them like they wanted to be treated. So I built a business. That was one way I built it. Then I said, you know what? I could only get so many people inside the store. What can I do to expand my business? So I said, oh, you know what? No Subway's doing. Before all the delivery services, I was the only Subway delivering. Oh, wow. I did delivery services. I had catering businesses. I was delivering for title companies, for pharmaceutical sales reps, for physicians when they had meetings. I made a lot of contacts that way. And through Subway, I learned the systems, the scaling, how to, operations manual. People need to know. I mean, if you want a business, this is what you need to do. I mean, there was almost 30,000 Subways. In order to grow, you need to scale out. You need a system in place, right? They have the system in place. They're a franchise. Obviously, McDonald's is another franchise. But that's how it went, man. I built it through customer service, through helping people and thinking outside the box. How do we grow the business? And I thought outside the store, because when you're in those four walls, only so many people come in. How are they going to come in? Through marketing. We had a big marketing fund. I was part of the advertising board. And so I tell people this. I said, part of the advertising, another thing that Subway taught me, I said, you know what, dude? I said, those $5 foot longs, they look so freaking damn good on TV. What do? They look so good. They fold the meat. The lighting is perfect, right? I said, the reason why it looks good, that's called food staging. And I use this as a reference to staging a house. I said, it's the same thing. I said, if Subway is going to pay that much money for a $5 foot long, we need to for your $1 million home or $500,000 home, we need to prepare it, stage it just like that. Think about that. You only have one chance to make a good first impression. That's another thing that Subway taught me, right? It's the marketing, the advertising, how to scale out, and how to do all those things. So it's an amazing. It was an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I talk about the franchise model of how, with real estate agents, of you need to kind of build your business with that in mind, right? This system over here, this system over here. What's that process? And then your business can become system based and not so dependent on just you doing every little thing, right? If you do every little thing, you only can, like you said, you only can service so many people.
You could only do so much, man. I'm telling you right now. But I think a lot of times that when we're as guys or anybody, I think we have this ego that we could do it all. We're Superman.
Yeah.
I could do it better than you, this and that. And you start thinking like that. And then you're like, great, you can. But at what point have you reached your threshold, right? Your pain point. And you're like, I can't grow anymore. Something's going to suffer. Either your personal life, your social life. And I see it. I'm busy a lot, and I always think about work. And I think that what I try to do too in the beginning within the real estate world was I try to reinvent the wheel and try to do things my way instead of just following just there was road maps right there in front of me from the KW when I was with KW, great training program, right? I was there for 10 years. And then next home, but I always try to, I was like, I could do it my way. No, and then I started hiring coaches, and then I started listening to them. That's when I became better. And I was like, they laid out the system. I just follow the system. You got to surrender to the system and to the processes that are already given to you. And then once you master that, then you could deviate and start making your own, right? Master what's they're given to you, and then just go. And then you could say, okay, now it's on. Now I could add a little here and add a little there. But don't do any adding and don't reinvent the wheel until you've mastered what your coach is or whoever, whatever team member, your team leader you're on with.
Yeah, no, I mean, spot on. So when did you decide to get into the business, into real estate?
When I had the painting business, I was about to get my license in Florida right before it, but I didn't. Then I opened up the Subway. So 2004 to 2017, I had the Subway. In 2006, I got my real estate license.
Okay.
And in 2000, but I was part-time until 2017. It was always like, okay, I'm going to get out. I'm going to hire a manager at the Subway, and I'm going to get into real estate, and I'm going to do my thing. Nope. Once you have the restaurant, it's no shows, no calls. People were pulling you back in. I had to show up. The store was open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. I'm there at 5 a.m. Sometimes I was there till 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really focus on that aspect of real estate when I had it. I had a lot of friends that were selling their homes, and I had this aha moment, and I was like, you know what, let me just get my real estate license. Then once I got it, I was expecting those friends to use me. Like, who do they want? They want some dude slinging $5 footlongs to sell their $1 million home? I'm making fun of myself now, right? I'm like, no, I'm like, and I was pissed that they didn't use me, right? I was like, damn, I'm like, why don't they use me? I just got my license, they count me out. I said, you know what? Let me start working on this. So I started getting coaching while I was at the Subway, still getting coaching every year, getting a little bit of coaching. I was getting a little better at it. Then in 2017, 13 years at the Subway and having my license for 11 years, real estate license for 11 years, and I was part-time, I decided, you know what? I'm going to sell the store. I'm going to go into this full-time. I made a bet on myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself. If I apply the same effort into real estate and working 70 hours a week in the restaurant, I'm like, there's no way I can't succeed. There's absolutely no freaking way. So I said, I burned that boat, man. I said, you know what? I'm selling it. And I made that decision. I said, now I only have one option. I have nothing else. I have no other income coming in. I said, what do I do? Go over. My father-in-law goes, don't worry. He's like, at that time, he's like, don't worry. He goes, give it a year. And then after that, I'll give you a couple $100,000 to run the gas station property. I was like, no, I think I'll make more. I said, he goes, okay, just give it a year and then come back to me. I'll give you the option. And they could run because the gas station, the Subway, and we had the whole property there. Then I had a chicken restaurant there too. And he's like, I think I'm good. And so people doubt you because it's an all commission job.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that there is no limit. The limit is you.
Mm-hmm.
Our minds are limitless if your mind is limitless, right? Yep. And I tell people, and a lot of times it is when I don't want to wake up in the morning, I tell them, I go, you know, when I show up, the money shows up.
Yep.
All because some days you don't want to work, you don't have the energy, but just show up. Just go and show up. Do a little bit. Just make your phone calls. Do some lead generating. Do something. Because once you start, you're gonna have a little bit more energy. Just like going to the gym, right? Just show up, and then you're like, okay, now I'm running. I feel good about myself. But it's just that the idea of going and getting up and going to the gym or going, I'm like, I don't feel like making calls today. I just feel like just chilling. Nope. Not me, man. You know what? So I'm like, so I said, I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to bet on myself. And I did. And I just try to show up every day. And some days I don't, and I regret it. It's like that. You need that discipline in your life to show up. And that's what it's not easy. It's not glamorous like $1 Million Agent and sunset. People
Yeah.
think it is. No, it's not. I mean, there's times when we try to look the part, we see beautiful homes. Yes.
Yeah.
But you got to, people don't realize the first 3 years in the business, you got to grind it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to, I mean, you said, bet on yourself a couple times. And I just had that conversation with a brand new agent. They've been licensed since March. And I said, look, at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself and you know who you are, if you have the work ethic, you will succeed in this business. I tell agents all the time, at the end of the day, we could probably work 2 hours a day if we just hyper focused on prospecting, and you would make a ton of money and hit your goals. Problem is most agents, we're all humans. We come into the office, we do it for 30 minutes, we get distracted for 45, and then we're on, social media, and then we talk to someone at the office, and then we go back to it. And then we're like, oh man, I just worked 10 hours, right?
You don't work 10 hours.
Yeah. But if we just I tell agents, come in every day for 2 hours, we're prospecting, and then you leave, that's a successful day. Even if you have nothing else going on, that's the flexibility of our business that a lot of us forget about but knock out the things that are going to produce the income, and then go do whatever the hell you want to do. But I think you're right. You knew you could put in the work, from running the restaurant. That wasn't ever, in question. But betting on yourself that you're actually going to show up day in and day out, even when you don't want to, is key for a lot of agents that are finding success in this business.
So, and I think another thing too is what I realized is that whatever shows up in your outer world, right, is a reflection of your inner world, right? And a lot of times, a lot of people have like self-limiting beliefs and doubts about themselves. And I think Mike Tyson said it best: you have to be a doubt annihilator, and just like literally just take those doubts and annihilate them, from like being fearful about the phone and talking to people, and just doubting yourself. Because I think people, it is human nature, because we tend to take the path of least resistance all the time, right? We're like water, electricity, and all that stuff. Like we're human nature. We're part of nature, right? It's what's gravity doing? It's going down, right? And that's the easy thing. What's going to hold it up? So water goes down, electricity takes the path of least resistance. Humans do the same thing. Whatever's the easiest path, we're going to take. But when you realize if you take that little bit, that path that's going to be more challenging and more fearful, that's the path you should take, because that's the path that's going to lead you to success, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's all about your inner work, because if you feel good about yourself, if you love yourself, you're going to exude that, and that energy is going to come out, and people are going to be attracted to that. Then you become a magnet to everything. But it all starts with one thing, and it starts with a thought. You have to think you are. If you don't think you are, you're not going to become it, man. It's all a thought. Like everything started with a thought. Like see that the 7 costly mistakes, that painting, the frame. Where was that built? Who designed it? When did that glass in the frame? This is a long time. But who's the first inventor of that? It started with a thought. Then one person made it better. Then the other person made it better, and then they started evolving. But everything that we're touching right now started with someone's thought. The screen that we're on.
Yeah.
We're like talking think about that. How cool is that? Yeah. We're like literally, you're in another place, and we're talking to each other live, like we're next to each other.
Yeah.
Like if you really think about that, how cool. But it started with a human thought.
Yeah.
Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, like Henry Ford said, you're right.
And someone believed that it's possible, right? And I think sometimes too, you grew up in sports, I grew up in sports. It's you need a coach. You need, I believe that everyone should have a coach. I believe everyone can be a peer, or should have a peer, someone that's on the same path as you, right? If you're doing 40 deals, find an agent doing 40, 45, 50 deals. They're going to help you during the highs and the lows, right? When you don't want to show up and do that, like, hey, let's come on, right? And I believe that you should be able to coach someone else, right? I believe everyone can coach someone else get to where they're currently at. Whether you're selling 10 deals, you can help someone go from 5 to 10. You know, if you're selling 50 deals, you can help someone go from 30 to 50. And I believe in those three things: having a coach, being a peer, and coaching someone else. Because of that, right? You know, we are humans. We still all have, you know, those self-limiting beliefs, you know, around us. But if you surround yourself, like we talked in the very beginning, you know, with people that, you know, I'm always trying to be the lowest of the five around me, right? You know, I'm trying to get into rooms where I don't necessarily belong, or where I believe I don't belong. You know, I just started going to masterminds in the last 16 months ish. And, you know, before last January, I didn't think I belonged in them. But guess what? I just started showing up.
Just show up, man.
And keep showing up.
So have you paid for a lot of coaching?
So so in the beginning of my career, I was blessed. And like I said, my path and why I like to help agents and why I like to have these conversations is I feel I got lucky. I've been with Ryan, my mentor, since day one of my career. I don't know any different. He paid for coaching for probably the first 4-5 years of my career. You know, to where I got, you know, to learn buyer consultations and listing presentations and understand a system and a process. It's not, I'm just going to throw a sign in the yard and list the house. No, there's a certain way we're going to do things, right? Or a listing or buyer's consultation. You know, hey, we don't just go show homes. We're actually going to sit down and go over everything, right? We're going to get on the same page and you're going to get educated on the market. So I was blessed. And then there was probably a 4-year period where probably a 3-year period where we didn't have coaching. And I forget why. We didn't have coaching. And then last year I decided, you know, with the way our team was growing, and I was working on getting out of the business, scaling out as far as sales and kind of going into a leadership role. I am a lead by example type person. And I was afraid that if I got away from making the phone calls, doing the showings, still doing listing appointments, that I wouldn't be an effective leader. So I went and got a coach last January. I've been with him since to help me on the leadership side and to really help us get to that next level for where we're looking to go. So,
you know what? I did the same thing. I've paid, I think in the past like 6 years, and from business coaches, real estate coaches, and mindset coaches, $120,000.
Yeah.
So in the past like 5 or 6 years, so people don't realize I'm investing in myself. And they're like, why do you don't need coaching? You've been in all these businesses. You know this stuff. I said, but you know what happens? I think the most important thing that people don't realize, when you start going into these coaching platforms, and I've been with 6 different coaching programs, I get to meet so many people that are way above me. And it's not even, the coaching stuff is whatever. They're all similar, right? They're all similar. But the people you meet, it's the people, man. It's all about the people. The people you meet that are here, you're like, if he can do it, you can do it. Why can't I? I go, what's like, your mind does open, like you open up your thought path. You're like, shit, I need to think bigger.
Yeah.
Like, damn, like what's wrong with me? Why am I like limiting myself to this? And because I want to do everything. I go, no, you got to delegate. You got to be a leader. You got to train. You got to empower other people. You need to grow. You can only grow so much by yourself, man. Look at what they're doing and look what they're making. You know what I'm saying? So it's to me, it's through osmosis and through meeting those people that you become, just by default, just by being around them, you'll become better.
Yeah. No, I'm always, you know, trying to get agents to go to, you know, events, conferences, you know, because sometimes it's the conversations at happy hour or the conversations after the event. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of information and knowledge at the event, whatever event you're going to. But sometimes it's the connections that you're able to make through small talk, you know, from an agent in a different city, a different market, that they're doing things a certain way, that you can connect with, you know, once you leave there. And what works there works here. What works here works anywhere, right? Real estate's real estate.
Real estate is people. That's all. People don't realize. We live in houses. Without real estate, think about this. We're in and I said this in the other, when I was at our conference at Next Home, and I was on stage, and I said, you know what? I said, guys, we're so lucky. We deal with people, obviously, and then we deal with real estate. Think about that. You know what real estate is? Without real estate, there is no house, there is no office, There is no warehouse where they make a computer, where they build the computer parts. There's no industrial facility. We're on land. We're dealing with what God gave us, and we're selling the homes on the land. And there's nothing bigger than that. Think about that. Every business, no matter where it is, yeah, they have a home-based business. They're in a house, right? Yeah, I'm selling. They're working in a house. Are they working in an office? That's commercial real estate. Everything is about real estate. If you think about it, you have to work on a piece of real estate. You got to live in a piece of real estate.
Yep.
We're in the biggest business in the world, and people don't realize that, the opportunity that's in there. Yeah. And there's so many niches that someone could start, from commercial to residential. I do some commercial also because I was in the restaurant business, but it's people and real estate. That's it. That's like the opportunities are limitless and endless.
Yeah.
Endless. Like I get so excited when I talk about it because I'm like, dude, you have no idea, like, your opportunity that you have. You have no idea. So that's to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're spot on. And like I said, what you put into it, what you're going to get out of it, right? How bad do you want it? What's your goals? What's that lifestyle you want to live? So I want to kind of dive into the beginning of your career. I know you mentioned, the first 3 years you're grinding. Did you have, success? I know you had, friends weren't using you and people that you knew weren't using you. Kind of dive into your first couple years, success, struggles.
So the first 2006 to 2017, I was doing probably 1 or 2 houses a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just like a part. I did stuff for friends or just a couple here and there. And then in 2017, I said, oh, you know what? I was basically part-time. I think I did 2016, I said, you know what? I started stepping away because I knew I was in contract to sell the Subway. And I did 12 deals that year at the end of the last 4 months of the year. And I was like, oh, that's cool. 3 a month. That's awesome. And then the following year I did 12, then I did 24 the following year. I wasn't really full-time yet because I was still at the Subway, for the half of the year. It didn't sell till mid 2017. So I did 24 that year. Then 2018, I did 32 transactions. And then the following year, 32 again. And then last year was 58, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 58. And I did almost 24 million in volume. So that's where I was. And that's how I've grown. And I haven't even scratched the surface.
How did you, when you decided to go full time, what was the decision of, how you were going to go and build your business?
Coaching, mentors, and what I did first, I went to a 9-day boot camp by Joshua Smith, who is out in Arizona.
GSD mode.
Yeah. So that's what I did. So GSD. So I had that. That was one of the boot camps that I've done. That was the first coaching program that I hired outside of when I was with Keller Williams. That was the first coaching program, and I did really well. So I focused on for sale by owners, some expireds, just going out there and just hustling, man, just talking to people and just asking. But for sale by owners was it. But then I think a lot of people don't realize the power of an open house, right? The open house is where you meet the neighbors, where you meet the community, where you get to meet people. It's all about people, man. Get your face in front of people. And it's that simple. And I was just talking to a lot of people, but it was for sale by owners and open houses, I think, were the two things that helped me out the most in the beginning. And they still do. I mean, those are tried and true. And you if you just focus on that, you could, at minimum, you could sell 30 homes a year.
Yeah. Joshua Smith was, I built my business on internet leads, and, that's not a fun thing, right? Like, people are like, oh, you're so good at it. I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. Like, I just got, it was just what paid, it's how I got business. It's, what paid me. Right. And, so what I had to do is I had to, do an hour long, typically what I had to do is an hour long training before I ever jumped on the phones, just to get my head straight and get into real estate. And what I would do is I'd come into the office by 8 o'clock. From 8 to 9, I'm watching some sort of video training, whatever it is, whatever I could find, just to get into the real estate mindset. Then I would jump into calls at 9 o'clock. And Joshua Smith was one of those people early in my career that I would watch him interview, different agents across the country. And I remember,
this reminds me, the podcast. This right now reminds me of his podcast.
Exactly, right.
He slowed down with it right now, but this is exactly like it.
This is
So he
exactly it.
interviewed
Look, I
successful
tell
agents.
agents all the time, you got to rip off and duplicate, right?
That's why don't reinvent the wheel. Just make it your own, because there's so many people, right?
Yeah.
You're doing a fantastic job, man.
Yeah, and I remember this one. He was I don't remember the agent's name, but it was like Vancouver, Canada, or somewhere. He was interviewing an agent, and the guy's like, "Look, I'm going to pass up a $2-3 million listing if that appointment falls within my prospecting time, because my prospecting time, I'm going to make more than that $2-3 million listing is going to bring me." And like that's something that's just always stuck with me. And what's one of the first things that agents will skip on in their day? If an appointment pops up, a showing pops up, a listing, prospecting, right? No one likes doing that. But that was one of the things that, early on in my career that, time management that became important to me was, I wasn't great at it every single day. I didn't hit it every single day, but that prospecting time became, it was a can't miss appointment in my calendar. But yeah,
you know what? I think
that's
that
awesome that he did his coaching, because I just watched it through his YouTube channel. So
I did his, so I had his coaching. I mean, he was great, Josh, and then John Cheplak, his coach, is fantastic also.
Yep.
Listen to all those guys. And every coach that out there, from Mike, I've read materials, everything that's on YouTube, any coach that's out there, I've probably known them, or I probably studied a little bit about them and what they've done. And you realize everyone is human, and there's no difference between them and us. And then as long as you stay consistent, you got to first believe in yourself. You have to have that mindset of me, like I am good enough. I value myself. Because if you don't have that, you can't do anything. And I don't care what you do, right? Yeah. It starts first within you. Then you have to, okay, what systems and processes am I going to start doing on a daily basis to make myself better, right? I constantly, I have a library on wheels. Every podcast, I don't watch the news. I don't listen to negative radio. I listen to podcasts. I listen to real estate podcasts. I listen to mindset, Audible books. It's like I'm boring. I'm not this fun. People are like, oh yeah, you go out. No, I don't go out like that much. I'm always in my head trying to learn and try to put positive information in my head. I rewired my brain. I literally in the past 6 years, I've rewired my brain from a negative outlook. I was kind of pessimistic to becoming an optimistic, to thinking, you know what, I could achieve anything if I wanted to. Yeah. And everything that's happened in my life, positive and negative, it's all because of here. Yeah. I created it, nobody else. I created, you create your problems, or you create your successes, and that's it. People look at that because we're the common denominator to everything that happens to us in our life. Yeah, and there's no one else that's gonna save you. You have to save yourself. Just listen to whoever's done it before. Listen to them. Just follow it, surrender, and just do it. I swear to God, if they just do it, like you said, an hour a day. Think about somebody prospecting an hour a day that hasn't prospected ever. Yep. How much business they would. I would say 10 times over, 10x, like Grant Cardone says, right? Yeah. They would 10x their business, right? They would 10x their business.
I love it. And part of it's, most people try to do things that they don't enjoy doing, right? The prospecting, find something that you actually enjoy doing. Or like me, it was the way to keep me away from a 9-to-5, to have freedom and flexibility that my friends weren't having at the age of 22 years old. They were still clocking in, clocking out at work, and I was doing whatever the hell I wanted to do, And so for me, it was like, hey, I'll suck it up and do it. And then I just got comfortable with it. Right. And that, then it just became natural. But so I wanted to kind of, and I want to be respectful of your time. I got a couple more questions for you. I want to kind of fast forward. You're getting this momentum into your business, building it over the last, 4, 5, 6 years. What's one thing that you're looking to accomplish in the next 12 months? Any big goals?
12, yeah, I mean, I have goals. I want to start getting more into, as real estate agents, we help a lot of other people with their investment properties and their portfolios. Yeah. But I think what we're all looking for is freedom, right? What do I mean by that? It's like financial freedom, where we could just say, you know what, we have money coming in from real estate. Either we built a great business and we could just step away and take a vacation and or just do something, right? But I think building wealth is through real estate. Most of the successful people, most of the people that are really, really wealthy, they own a bunch of real estate. Yeah. And the guys that I know that own a lot of real estate, they're in Greece for 3 months out of the year, 4 months out of the year. They have commercial strip centers. They have hundreds of units, like rental properties. They have rentals, right? So my goal is to buy a few rentals, by the end of the year, and start partnering more with, because we have so many opportunities with sellers and helping them out, that we could get involved in like helping the investors out too, being part of their investment team.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I think. But growing a team is on the business side. That was my personal. But on the business side, my goal is, 100 homes a year. That would be 100 homes a year, but I realize that I can't do it by myself. I need more. I have a couple people on my team, but I need a full-time. I have a transaction coordinator. I have a part-time admin. I need full-time. I need a couple more full-time people behind the scenes so I could be out there talking to people. And that's my job, is to talk to people and realize that I'm here to train and talk. And that's how I'm going to build myself.
Yeah.
And I have these self-limiting beliefs too, of not growing, like of just getting scared of leaving the daily grind, the non-money making activities, right? I like doing some of the marketing. I like it. I enjoy it. But it's like you realize, okay, that's somebody else probably do it quicker than I can.
Yeah.
And better than I can. Just hire it out.
Yeah.
And give it to them, so you could focus on the income producing activities, talking to people and meeting people. That's basically it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. Talk to people, meet people, and ask and tell them what you do. Plain and simple.
No, I love it. It's funny, hiring people after that, like before we even got started, I had my virtual assistant swap out the template, right? And I was like, I don't know how to do this. Someone else can do it. So yeah. No, that's awesome. And you mentioned financial freedom. I was reading this article. This was, I don't even know, end of last year sometime, in Success Magazine. They had a financial advisor in there and talking about just that financial freedom. And this stuck to me. She's like, most people want financial freedom, say they want financial freedom, but what most people really want is peace. Right? They want peace of mind that finances are going to be fine. They want peace of mind that their health is going to be fine. They want peace of mind that the family is going to be fine. Peace of mind that, everything in the house is going to be fine. So, that's awesome. And obviously the financial side of things helps create some of those things. But yeah, investing in the real estate space is one of those legs that a lot of people should really consider and look at.
Let me parlay off of that when you said that, because we are, like humans, we're energy, right?
Yep.
We're energy. Money is energy, right? And so I think when you come from the scarcity mindset and you don't have enough, right? You're coming from this, like, need and you want, and you don't have the money coming in, your energy is low. Think about it. Everyone is scared. Okay, I have to pay the bills. Like, what does that do to you? What does that do? It literally completely ruins your peace. And in order for you to be at peace, you're like, all my bills, everything is taken care of. Imagine how free your spirit, how much peace you'll have, not worrying about struggling to pay the rent, the mortgage, the lights, the utilities. People don't realize money makes life a lot easier. So it's not evil. It's an abundance mentality where I think the more money I make, the more impact I can make. That's what I think. I go, let me make an impact to help other people. How do I grow? Volunteer, fundraise for others, and just give it back. Just give it back. And that's what I want to do. To me, that's the most peaceful thing I could do, is say, you know what, I could help you. Let me teach you how to do something. Or else, if you need money, I could give them money. I could do that. But I think money creates the peace. Money is energy, and we are energy. And I think life in itself, energy, like attracts like.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What's something that you're looking to accomplish in the next 5 years? Any real big goals?
Yeah, I have my license in Florida too. I want to build out a team out in Florida. And my dad lives in Tampa, my brother lives in Tampa. So I haven't done anything there yet, but I still have my license there, and I want to, because obviously I live there and I had the painting contracting business there.
Yeah.
I want to be able to branch off and have teams there, and then maybe Greece.
That'd be awesome.
Greece would be fantastic.
That'd be awesome. What do you think that you're going to need to put in place in order to help hit that goal?
People, systems, processes, right? That's it. People, systems, processes. That's all you literally need. And then, but be disciplined with my time and just having the mindset of doing it.
Yeah.
And showing up every day. Like I said, if you don't show up, and when you show up, the money shows up. When you don't show up, guess what? No money, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing shows up.
We've tried twice start a team down in Florida. And it's just that people, systems, processes. And it's hard to do if you don't have those. So, well,
it is hard.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen for you. I know it will. Nick, I appreciate you coming on and sharing, your journey and your wisdom and how you go about, building your real estate business. And I always end with this one question for everyone. If you could give our audience one piece of advice that you wish you had, whether you just got started or now, what would that be?
You know what? I made the mistake of not having a mentor. I try to do things by myself and learn by myself because I was a business guy. And I had a super man ego where I could do everything because I was pretty good at a lot of things, and I didn't have that mentor that could help guide me through and just the bumps and the bruises and all the hurdles that were in the way. I didn't really have a mentor, and I wish I did. So if I was somebody starting out now, I think teams now are more prevalent than they were in 2006 when I got my license.
Yeah.
So I would go on a team with a great leader and a great training program, and surround yourself with or hire a coach. Either get a mentor, join a team, or hire a coach right away. Invest your money. I know it's going to be maybe $500 to $1,000 a month. Invest in, if you don't have a team leader that could do it, hire a coach if you want to do it by yourself.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Nick, I appreciate you coming on. Those that are watching, on YouTube, Nick's contact information is at the bottom of the screen. If you want to pick his brain, about building a business and you just connected with his journey, give him a call, shoot him a text. I'm sure he's going to be more than willing to chat with you. And if you're here in the Columbus market in Central Ohio and you're looking to buy or sell, reach out to Nick as well. Right.
Reach out to, we're all good, man. You guys are fantastic. John's awesome too, man. Everyone that's on these calls is a freaking amazing agent, right? I think everyone's good. Like, I really have nothing bad to say about most realtors. We're all good, man. Just hire a realtor. That's it. Hire a real estate agent and a Columbus Board of Realtors.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't try to sell your house by yourself.
Yeah, there you go. Nick, if they want to get a hold of you, those that are listening in on our podcast, what's your phone number for them to reach out to you?
It's 614-562-2539. It's scrolling on the bottom, but also, Nick Vlasidis _realtor on Instagram. If you could spell my name, you might find it online, but if you can't, I don't know. I mean, it's Nick Vlasidis on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. So just look my name up. If you could spell it, then you'll find me.
Awesome, Nick. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. I had a blast, and we'll connect again here soon.
You're awesome, John. I appreciate it, man. You're doing a great job.
All right, thank you.
Keep killing it, man.
All right, thanks.
Have a good day.